What's up, everybody? My name is Vince. Welcome to the channel. In a previous video, we talked about the difference in Milwaukee's collets from their fuel line, which are quick insertion, to their standard M18 line, which is not quick insertion. We talked about the ease of use and the reliability of the collets. Well, maybe we didn't do such a great job of explaining it, or maybe we just didn't go into enough depth. But overwhelmingly, in the comment section, your question was, well, wait a minute, how different are they, really? Is there a size difference in the 1/4-inch hex insertion point? What does it look like on the inside of the M18 as opposed to the fuel? What's the two ball bearings look like? Is there no relief? These are all questions, and today we're going to answer them. So if you wanted to go back, and I suggest that you do, you go back and watch this video here. We talk about quick insert versus non-quick insert. We talk about there being a single ball bearing inside this collet to retain our 1/4-inch hex bits. We say there's two ball bearings here. If you wanted to see the inner workings of this collet, you can go to this video here, where we break down this collet, we show you how it works, we try to lubricate it. We got a lot of comments in that video that says you shouldn't lubricate, it should only be dry lubrication. But nonetheless, there's lubrication from the factory, so we re-lubricated it. We did not break this collet down to show you, because quite frankly, this tool's like 9 years old. It's operating just fine. Not had any retention problems with it, so I didn't break it apart. But you wanted to see it, so that's what we do around here. We give you what you want. Now, is this going to be easy? Probably not. We're going to try anyway. And here's the thing. If you've got a 9-year-old tool from Milwaukee, it's not covered under warranty anymore. Does that mean you should pull this apart yourself? Probably not. You probably should take it into the service center or put in an e-warranty claim, even though it's not under warranty, an e-service claim, and have professionals do it. Am I a professional? Something like that. But what are you going to do? The one thing everybody did say the last time I pulled this collet apart was, hey, Vince, when you're working with snap rings and springs, you should wear some eye protection. And I will say this, on this collet, it feels like you got somewhat of a stiff spring that could go flying possibly. But on this collet, I really feel like the spring is nice and stiff. And quite frankly, I'm afraid that this thing might pop out and hit me in the eye. All you guys and girls out there, I'm sure you don't like when something accidentally hits you in the eye. So, we're going to wear some eye pro. Now, you can see, I don't know if you can see, but in here, there are two ball bearings. We've confirmed that. What else you can see is there's no relief for that ball bearing to be displaced, but it might be hard for you to see, so we're going to pull it apart just so you can see the differences if you refer back to that video, because I'm not pulling that apart. So what we're going to do is, there's a little retention ring here. It's not necessarily a snap ring because it doesn't have eyelets for us to fit our snap ring pliers into, but we're going to try to use our snap ring pliers to move it out of the way so we can maybe get a screwdriver. Well, I'm talking all through it, but you know, this isn't going to go to any type of plan. It's just we're going to pull this apart. We're going to try to get it back together. You know, the whole reason why people don't like wearing eye pro is because you can't see through them a lot of times. And it's good to keep your eye pro clean. And if you have good eye pro, this isn't the best eye pro, this is just, you know, I had it laying around, so I'm using it. If you have good eye pro, don't toss your eye pro in with your tools, because what happens is, especially if it's plastic, the eye pro gets nicked and damaged and scratched. And then it's even harder to see through, and you don't want to wear it. So have a separate case for your eye pro. Okay, So we have our little snap ring here. Okay, so we kind of lifted that snap ring up. Okay, so our snap ring came off. Our washer came off. Our spring is out. I will say this. This looks like a nice, looks like a heavier gauge spring to me. Okay, then we pull up our collet sleeve, or whatever you want to call this, and we're met with our anvil. Now, here's the difference in the anvils and the collet. There is no ball bearing retention spring under here because it's the collet that slides over the ball bearing to retain the ball bearing. Okay, do you see that? So there's no retention spring. There's no spring that allows that ball bearing to be displaced by the bit. Okay, the ball bearings will move out only when the collet is lifted up, as opposed to a quick insert collet that has a spring that allows the ball bearings to be displaced and then move back into place. Do you see the difference there? Wow. You see we have one ball bearing here and we have another ball bearing there. Let's put it back together. You may be asking yourself, that 1/4-inch collet, are there any dimensional differences? So what we can try to do is we can try to measure the internal diameter. Because if the variances, if the clearances are looser on the fuel as opposed to the standard, that also would allow for more play in the bit and potentially having a bit pop out. So let's open up our caliper. It's 0.284 inches. So it's a little bit, right? 1/4 inch. You can't have two objects the same size occupy the same space, so there needs to be a little bit of wiggle room. So it's greater than 1/4 of an inch. You got 0.284 inches. Now let's measure the internal dimension of so we have 0.288. So the tolerances on the fuel tool are actually tighter than the standard M18 tool. So you'll have less wobble from the fuel tool. You're going to have less wobble in your bits. It's going to be more accurate, but will it be as dependable? I don't know. Would this collet benefit from having a stronger ball bearing displacement and retention spring? I think that it would. I think we need a stiffer spring to start to resolve this issue. I think the fuel needs a stiffer spring to allow this ball bearing to be displaced and then moved back into position. I think that would alleviate a lot of this problem. Now, another solution would be to design a collet that has two ball bearings and possibly a stiffer spring. And last but not least, we could say, hey, Milwaukee, you make some of the most dependable tools, powerful tools, but we don't need the convenience of a quick insert collet. we want something that's going to be powerful, have unbelievable performance, but have more dependable collet. Go with a manual insertion collet that will retain the blades. It might even be less expensive for Milwaukee to put this style collet on this tool. But we want to know what you think. Which of those three options do you think would be best? Leave it down in the comments section below. We could relay that information to Milwaukee over on Twitter at VCG Construction. If you're not following us on Twitter, what are you doing? Follow it. We're very social. Go on over to Twitter at VCG Construction. Give us a follow. Get in on the conversation that we're having, because we're going to have a conversation. Also, if you leave it down in the comment section here, I'm sure that Milwaukee probably reads some of your comments, our comments from the very cool gang. Let your voice be heard. What would you like to see happen? Let them know. With that, I want to say I appreciate every single one of you being here. Thanks a lot, very cool gang. We'll see you all on the next one.
Video's over, but I know you want more. So this is how you're going to get it. First thing you need to do is pretend you're this guy. And you're here at the birthplace of freedom. Now ring that bell like it's 1776 and let all notifications through. What? You're not subscribed yet? Well, smash this button here. After that, watch this video here, and maybe over here. See you later.